Rico, ¿a dónde vas? ¿Tú no puedes manejar?
Okay, my people, let me tell you the story why I don't drive. Welcome back to Rico.toro. All right, a little bit of an adventure. Thanks for subscribing. Click the bell so you know when something new is coming out. So let's get into it. So, back in 2008, come down here with 3 other guys for my very first time, and one of the guys had a rental car in his name. I didn't really know him. He was the friend of the main guy that brought me down here, and I met him like a week before. So I'm down here 4 days total, and like day 2 into day 3, I go broke. That was back when I used to get paid on Tuesdays, I think. And so I'm out of money, but on day 4, I get paid. So the night before, Tuesday night, I asked a friend, hey, could I borrow the rental car in the morning to go to the ATM to get some money? And you know, I got drinks or whatever. We'll have a great, I'll have a great last night that way and be good. So I get up early, go to the ATM, which, I was staying in Costumbar. It's next to this world famous Blackbeard's Resort. If you've ever heard of that, I'm sure some of you had, but that's a whole nother story. So, and the ATM is outside by the Texaco, by the main road. There's no ATM in Costumbar. So I take the car out there to the ATM, and this was way before any vision issues, anything that ever stopped me from driving. And I was really confident at that time. I lived in North Jersey and drove all over New York City, and was just pretty comfortable driving anywhere. So it was no big deal to me, I didn't think, driving in Dominican Republic. So I go to the ATM, withdrew like 10,000 pesos, which at that time the exchange is like 37 to 1, and that's like 385 US at that time. So I leave there, and I just had to be one of these guys that lose their mind on their first trip and do something out of character, out of ordinary. So what do? I pull out my flip phone, my Motorola Razr that I had at the time, and I decided to take a picture of a horse in the street or something crazy when I'm driving. Next thing you know, the road goes from like 2 lanes to 1. There's that bridge there on the main road before you turn to go down the Blackbeards, if you know what I'm talking about. And so I clip the bridge where the lanes merge, and I realized right away the cars, got a flat or something at the minimum. So, I stop, and first thing in my mind is like, you hear these different horror stories about the police and different things. So I knew right away I can't call the police. I'm not in the States, I'm not in the modern world, so I just can't call Hertz or Budget and say, come get your stuff, I need a new car. I'm like, okay, I just met this guy like a week before. My friend that I've known like 2 years kind of vouched for me, because they had been pretty much the organizers and the leaders of our crew at this point. So I'm like, I gotta figure out a way to handle this. So this Dominican guy walking by, I didn't know Spanish then like I know it now. The only thing I really understood is he said basically, necesita ayuda, and I see. So he says he could fix it, help me out. First he changes the tire real quick, but the car is still wobbly, really doing a lot of that. So we go to down this dirt road he directs me to, where there's a lot of like dump trucks and things. And I don't know why, but it's like 8:30 in the morning, and there's like a whole bunch of people hanging out around them dump trucks and stuff, a bunch of Dominicans. And I feel like everybody's looking at me kinda, and you know, like, what's this gringo doing here or something. So, you know, you hear the horror stories, and I'm thinking, are they gonna take the car? Are they gonna, you know, just rob me and roll me? You know, you just hear these horror stories, you really just don't know. So anyways, after they talk, some of them amongst themselves, I'm signaled basically to get on the back of a moto. And this was my first moto ride. So we go into downtown Puerto Plata to the auto parts store. And while I'm in the auto parts store, this was before WhatsApp, and none of us had like Dominican phones at that time. While I'm at the auto parts store, I used the phone to call the hotel where I'm at. And you know, there was no phones in rooms or anything. And so basically, I'm having trouble getting my message across. So I'm basically just saying, you know, tengo problema, emergencia. I'm saying that a lot to the housekeeping. And you know, they bang on a couple of doors trying to get my friends help, but they're too, you know, it's too early, they're too wasted or whatever. So I couldn't speak to anybody. So anyways, several, I don't know, 4,000 pesos later and some auto parts. I'm on the back of the moto with a bunch of auto parts, and holding on one hand, holding like a bunch of parts, like a tie rod and some, I don't know, a CV joint or something, you know, whatever, and the other. And you know, I tell the story to a Dominican co-worker in New York at the time, and she's like, Rico, as soon as you got on the back of a moto with all those auto parts, you just became Dominican. So anyways, we move on. I finally get back to, they drop the parts off, and they drop me back off at the hotel. And the management of the hotel, they had already heard some story, somebody got in some trouble or something, and you know, they knew it was me because I was kind of only guest that was away at that point or unaccounted for. So they come up and ask what they need to do, and I'm like, look, the car is on the second dirt road from the main road, blah blah. And they're like, we know exactly who it is. So they end up telling the Chica basically to ride up there on her scooter and talk to these guys and see how much it's going to cost to fix the car or whatever. And it ended up being like 2,000 pesos, which at that time, again, lower exchange rate, it was like 70 US. So, you know, at that time, you know, I just sort of laughed because, you know, I was like, you know, what a freaking day. I love this country. It was just like adventure, you know, it didn't kill me. Even though at first early on, I was in panic mode. Like, how's this day gonna end? But, you know, so I got out of it, had a little fun while I was waiting on them to fix the car. And they, you know, and they never charged my friend's credit card for damages or anything. And, you know, had a great last night. But that's why I don't drive in the Dominican Republic. I realize that it's just a responsibility that I don't need. You know, so that's really it. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Share. And just a little side note, really helps me a lot when you do subscribe or you share, because I don't mass market through other social media platforms because of my business and my professional connections that are attached to those platforms. So anyways, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed, stay well. Yeah.